Hi everyone, it's Carolyn here to share another message. This time I'm going to talk about what I have noticed either in my work or for myself as the energies are shifting and changing in us and in our planet during the Ascension and the Awakening, and how we can help manage what happens to us as that occurs in our body, particularly with anxiety. So I have today 7 tips, things you can do to assist with that anxious feeling that we can get and might not even be aware of until you watch this, that can happen when the energies shift and change. So this is something I've talked about fairly recently on my email list, because I do videos in addition to the videos I do on YouTube for my email list. So by the way, you might want to sign up for that because you do get more free content, and it's in the description box below. But needless to say, I thought this topic was important enough to make sure everybody knew about this. So that's why I'm posting this on YouTube with a little bit more extra information. And as we move through 2019 and into 2020, don't think the energetic shifts and changes are going to stop or change. We're going to continue to evolve with those energies. And so what I want you to know is you don't have to be a victim of it. We can embrace this and take it and manage it. And I've seen it happen in my own self. I've seen it happen with others, but we have to understand that we're just not victims. And that we have an opportunity to participate with these energies. So that's what I'm going to share today with you. So welcome to everybody who's new. I appreciate you joining me. And I'm Carolyn Zaiser. I'm a channel, I'm a distance energy healer, and I'm a spiritual awakening mentor. And as I mentioned, you can join my email list below in the description box. And I appreciate you joining me today. And again, thank you to everybody who always joins me. It's fun to see familiar faces here, so thank you so much. So in these videos, typically what I do is I will give you either a channeled message or I'll talk about something, and then I give you my experiences within that with respect to the awakening or the things that I've noticed in my life so that you can have some frame of reference for your own. So as I start out today, I'm going to talk about how, first of all, it's somewhat important to understand and have conscious awareness that something has shifted and changed in how you feel. So anxiety typically will, as I have found in myself, change this stasis that you have of how you go through your day. Most of us know how we feel on any given day and whether we're feeling in the groove or like ourselves. And then something will come along that we might not be able to understand because it's not from an outside circumstance. And we change and shift in how we feel emotionally. Sometimes that can affect us physically. And what I find is that is an anxious feeling. So today, as I mentioned, I'm talking about anxiety and how that manifests. So the conscious awareness that you're feeling anxious and not just stuffing it aside and thinking, oh, I just have to go through this again and I'm a victim and, whatever this is. And, I don't want to say whining and complaining about it because I don't mean that. But you know how we can sometimes just push things aside and just play the victim role? Well, you don't have to. So first of all, conscious awareness, something has shifted in your day. Now, I'm going to give you a great example of how that works for me. And I am like clockwork on shifts and changes with energies. And it's cross-checked. The feelings I have and the knowings I have, I've cross-checked with a friend who stays connected on Facebook with a woman I've mentioned regularly, Amanda Lawrence, Lorence, that you might want to follow on Facebook. She is really tapped into the energy shifts and changes. And it's so funny because I don't really get on Facebook that much other than for my work. And I will say to my friend, oh my gosh, I'm feeling something. What is going on? I'm super fatigued. And mine typically happens in the late afternoon. And so I'll say something to her and she says, oh my gosh, I can't believe this again. You're like on target with what Amanda said. So it's very interesting. This has been a pattern over this year with me. And what I will feel, I will get my conscious awareness of something happening by how I feel. Typically it's fatigue for me, 4 or 5 o'clock, typically. And it's pretty profound because I don't usually get fatigue during the day. I don't take naps. I just don't. So I know something's up. And that fatigue will often turn into anxiety, which is real interesting. Additionally, this also becomes aware to me at night. I will have very anxious moments at times that will wake me up. So I'm going to talk about those things. That's typically how I notice it, but it's whatever manifests for you and the pattern that you start to notice of saying, oh my gosh, I feel different. I feel anxious. What is happening? That's the first step, okay? So then when you're aware that something is up, rather than just zooming through your day and ignoring it and feeling that way the whole time, there are things you can do. So the first thing, and these aren't in any particular order, and you're going to find your way, what works for you. Breathe. Oh gosh, I just did that. Anyway, what I will do, and works nicely for me, is to just recognize this and then step back and find a way to take a good deep breath, a couple deep breaths. And here's the thing, when we take the breath, the deep breath, it's helping to expel energy. I have seen this over and over again with myself, and it really works. It's kind of a quick fix and a short-term fix for me. You may find it really works for you, because what you've done is you've made yourself consciously aware that something's going on, and now you've taken the moment to breathe, step back, not these quick, rapid breaths that we do throughout our day, or that we can do throughout our day when we're hurried and rushed. So those deep breaths, just in and out, and feeling that sense of peace. But you're going to notice a pattern, if you're like me, and the breath works for you, where you will take a breath that isn't just normal. It's a much deeper inhale and exhale, like full body, and this releases energy. And anxiety is often caused by extra energy. Typically, that's what it is. That's what I have found. And again, we're talking today about anxiety driven from our shifts and changes in the earth, the shifts and changes that are coming through the ascension and the awakening, and entering our bodies, affecting our bodies, because we have to manage it somehow. And our body often will do that through anxiety. So breathing, that's one. Number two, again, these are in no particular order. Oh, I have found more water. When I am feeling anxious, literally the first thing I do with my conscious awareness of, oh, something's up, I go get more water. Now, I drink a lot of water anyway, but during the ascension and the awakening, it is even more important. And you'll go through a phase typically where you're going to have a great desire to drink a ton of water. Mine has drifted off a little bit lately over the last, I would say, 6 months, but I still make a point of drinking a lot of water. But what I'll find is as I'm starting to feel the energies coming in and the anxiety in my body rise, that tells me, guess what? I don't have enough flow in my body. I don't have enough water. Then invariably I'll sit there and think, oh my gosh, I haven't hardly had any water today. So getting a good, typically 16 ounces of water in me works amazingly. Now, again, you may find a combination of these things to do that is your recipe, and then you may add other things in for managing the anxiety. Because again, remember, you're not a victim. You don't have to just go, oh, okay, just take me. You can participate, all right? All right, number 3. So we can often through the course of our day, run into the energies of others. That's just natural. That's a part of our life journey. So that can also increase the anxiety that we'll feel in addition to the energies that are coming in throughout the course of the ascension and the awakening. So that can amp things up. So know that in your day, particularly those of you who are empathic, you are going to find that you may even have an more amped up anxiety that you're feeling. Now, I'm not saying this is going to happen every day, but I will say that what happens for me, and it's been more frequently, is that as I am out with a lot of others in the course of my day and we have an energetic shift, I'll have more anxiety, all right? So there's some things you can do to actually remove energy. Again, this is all about managing the energy that's coming in and being able to process it, all right? So your pendulum, where's my pendulum? If you don't have a pendulum, I have a pendulum video, but I don't think it's on YouTube. I think it's through my email list. Needless to say, I won't go through the details of using a pendulum and how to program it, etc. But a pendulum can remove your energies. And I do it to the point where it moves for me in a counterclockwise direction. And I will just say, pendulum, can you remove any energies that I have? And I'm telling you, I just I hold it and it'll instantly start moving. And sometimes it's like this. I hold it right in my solar plexus region And honestly, when I start the process, and I would do it for you now, but it's going to take a bit, but I take, all of a sudden, it starts moving, and I feel this great movement within me, and I take a big deep breath. So again, combinations of things are often what you'll see as a recipe for you. And you'll see over time what is your pattern. So the pendulum, I just hold it until it's completely done and has taken away some of that energy. And then, of course, what I do with the pendulum is I let it remove its own energies because it's collected it from me. It's helped transmute that out of me into it, and then it will transmute out of it. So again, a pendulum is fantastic. There are other ways to do that. Saging works great. What I do find when I use these other options like saging and the pendulum, I am also taking deep breaths, exhaling them through my body. So when I sage, I will sage my house, and some of you don't like the smell of sage, I realize. So that's fully up to you as to whether you choose to do this or not. But if you choose to use sage, I move through my whole house, but most importantly, I move around my body. And I again take huge exhales. So again, you'll find your patterned way of how this works for you. So there are ways to assist in processing those energies that not only are from combined with what's happening to our planet, to our earth through the ascension, but also through the energies that you encounter day to day when you're with others. So another thing that I have found for myself that is rather dramatic and affects me very specifically with respect to processing anxiety is being out in nature. Now, I'm a gardener, okay? And part of this, I think too, is for me, it distracts me from thinking about that. So I'm out, I'm digging in the dirt, I'm clipping things back, I'm mowing, whatever it is, edging, working my herb garden, whatever that is for you out in nature. But that's almost like that distraction. But as you're distracting yourself in nature, be it your garden, your yard, walking with, in a park, it's that physical connection that we have. And I will say that for me, it's the touching. I have to connect with my skin, whether it be walking on the earth barefoot, whether it be hugging a tree, and I've talked about that, or most importantly for me, digging in the yard. Now, I really struggle over the winter time, okay, because I can't do that. We're in Iowa winters, and oh my gosh, it's so difficult. And so I feel my anxiety raises pretty dramatically in the winter time. And so I try to still get myself out to walk, but it's hard. So many of you will find that in the winter times, if you live in severe climates, severe winters, you might have anxiety rise, okay? So anyway, needless to say, if you can get outside, do it. Touch the trees, touch the grass, just get outside, breathe some air. It's amazing what will happen for you. Additionally, exercise. This is one of the primary ways for me that releases my anxiety. For those of you who've been following me for a while, you know I'm a tennis player, and that's one of the main things where I can just sweat it out and get it out because I'm very physical when I do exercising. That's just me, and you don't have to be, but exercising in some way that allows you, again, to use the energy within your body because it's like a battery. We're like a battery. We house energy to be used, and if we can't use it, then we got too much going on, and you're going to feel it emotionally and physically. So exercise is a fabulous way to express that anxiety and get it out of our body. Whether it's a nice walk that you take, if you're not, a exerciser like me, where I think I have to go sweat till I have a wet ponytail, but that's just who I am, okay? Whatever works for you. Go get on the treadmill if you have one or belong to a fitness group where you can get on the treadmill and walk 15-20 minutes, get a little incline going. You'll be amazed at how you'll feel. All right. Another thing with respect to exercise, weight work. Now, you don't have to go out and bulk it up, but lifting those weights, I do a lot of upper body work, and I find that it helps me express a lot of my energy through weight work. And you can just start simply. But I do believe if you start on some of these processes, you're going to find your match. You're also going to find things that work for you that I haven't listed here. And then another way to manage your anxiety, and this ties to what happens with me at night when I get wide awake and I'm anxious and I don't even know what to do about it because I can't fall back to sleep. I will tell you, your angels and guides will help you. I have a process now where when I wake up in the middle of the night, I used to roll around and wonder what to do, and I'd just be wide awake. I'm like, oh my gosh, that's right. My angels and guides are always with me every single day. I just need to ask. So what they have said to me when I ask and I realize, and of course I usually try to fitfully try to fall asleep first before I remember, oh yeah, I can ask, is to have them help me fall asleep. And then I give gratitude. I thank them right away. And so what they told me, and this is me, so it might work for you, is do a focused center on the middle of your eyes and just close your eyes. Kind of like when I do my meditations, and they know that works for me because it assists me in going into my deeper meditations. So I just close my eyes and they say, focus on one point, just one point. Because when we wake up in the middle of the night, at least I do, and the anxiety hits, your mind is racing on 1,000 different things and you take yourself down rabbit holes. So what they do for me is they say, no, just focus on the middle of your eye. Just close your eyes. And I'm not kidding you. Before I know it, I'm asleep. Now, it doesn't always work, but I would say 80% of the time for me, it works. Fortunately, I don't have a lot of night anxiety, but when I do, this is one of the first things that I do. So call in your angels and guides and give them gratitude. Form that relationship. I've talked long and hard about that in many of my videos, and I'm a firm believer in the fact that humans have help all around us that we have never been taught about. So, lastly, oh, guess what I'm going to say? Meditation. Yes, don't stop the video, because meditation can be what you want it to be. And honestly, my meditations, they used to be 30 minutes in the morning, 30 at night. And honestly, for me, that's the best way to go. I have really cut back. I do 15 in the morning and 15 at night, primarily because I sit here and tell myself that I don't have time. I fight that too. But when I meditate, so much goes away. And there's so much benefit to a quiet space that you find in your house that you sit in. I don't care if it's for a minute or 30 minutes, and you just breathe. Forget about finding a guided meditation that works for you in a voice that you like. You just breathe. And I know thoughts come in and thoughts go, and that's the primary reason people think that they can't meditate. It doesn't matter. That's how we all start out, where you have thoughts coming in, and not to mention, that's kind of normal. I have thoughts come in. I've been meditating now for, I guess, regularly for 3 years. I still have thoughts come in, but I don't get upset about it or anxiety about it, because I don't want to add to my anxiety. The whole idea is it helps you with your anxiety. It brings you into the now moment. It helps you breathe. And lots of times what happens is when we start feeling anxious, our breath work is not great. So meditation will assist you in breathing at a more relaxed pace, bringing you into the now moment and assisting you in processing those energies. So today I have shared 7 things with you that will allow you as a recipe in one way or another, in addition to anything that you are interested in adding that works for you now, into your process of managing the energies that are coming into the earth, that are coming into us during Ascension, because that's not going to end. This is going to continue. And sometimes they are layered upon layered upon layered and profound, particularly during certain weeks. So remember, conscious awareness of something has shifted and changed in you is important. That's that connection with your body, with the understanding of who we are. And as we go through the Ascension and the Awakening, we can't help but really get more connected to who we really are, our body, mind, and soul, and to start feeling those things. And then we're able to take some control over that, not feel as though we are a victim, and instead start playing with the things that work for us, because we're a participant in this. We are a participant. And so I wish you the best in this journey as we move through this beautiful ascension that can really be trying for our mind and our body. So with that today, I thank you so much for joining me. And again, I will remind you of my services, purplerainhealing.com. You can check them out. I work as a spiritual awakening mentor to help you through your awakening journey, where I channel information in for you to be able to understand further what your journey's about, your life journey's about, and how you can move forward in your spiritual awakening as well. I also do distance energy healing and channeling, and then individually channeled messages. So I would love to work with you. I've worked with a lot of you, and it's been a joy meeting you. So check out my services, purplerainhealing.com. And again, I thank you so much for joining me in this video, and I will see you in the next one.